Hey there, friends. It's Elizabeth here from the Everyday Storyteller, and I am back with week 3 in my 2024 Project Life album. So, this is a digital Project Life album that I am completing in the 8 by 10 size. I'm going to be printing all of these layouts in a 8 by 10 book from Blurb. And I can't wait until I have enough to actually start printing um, all of these layouts in a actual book so that I can see all of these in real life. But in the meantime, we're just going to keep plugging away on these layouts. As you can see, I am working in Photoshop and I already have a template set up for myself. These are digital 8 by 10 Photoshop templates that I've created to kind of mimic the page protectors for a 9 by 12 album. So it goes 3 by 4, 4 by 6 on the first line, and then 4 by 6, 3 by 4, 3 by 4, 4 by 6 on the next couple of rows. These are available in my shop if you would like to start your digital project life journey and you want something kind of close to the 9 by 12 page projector layout. I have those available in the link in the description through my shop. So now that I have all of my photos inserted into my spread, this is only half of my spread, by the way. When I have a lot of photos for 1 week, I like to create kind of a digital insert for myself. So the left side of the page is like the regular page protector configuration, and then the right side of the page is kind of more like a layout. Like if I had a 6 by 12 layout in between as an insert, or something like that. So that's kind of how I think of these two sides of my spread when I am working with a bunch of photos that I want to talk about for the week. Now that I have all of my photos laid out on this spread, I'm going to start adding in some journaling cards and other embellishments. I am using digital embellishments and cards from the Ali Edwards Quarterly Scrapbook Kit. This is, I believe it's called Daily. And that was from 2023 as well. If you know the quarterly scrapbooking kits, if you're familiar with them, you know that they don't actually include 3 by 4 or 4 by 6 journaling cards, but they do include 12 by 12 papers as well as 7 by 8 1/4 size papers. So normally that would be what you would use if you were doing like a traditional scrapbooking layout. But since I am working with these digital elements in Photoshop, I can modify all of these elements to suit my needs. So I've been really enjoying doing that lately with the quarterly scrapbooking kits. It kind of frees me up creatively and makes me think a little bit about how to use these things that maybe weren't exactly made for a project life spread, or at least that wasn't what was completely in mind when Ali created these scrapbooking kits. So as you can see, I've modified a couple of the journaling cards. The days of the week in black and white used to be a 12 by 12 paper, and then that 3 by 4 card you see on the left on the main spread that has Monday through Wednesday with journaling spots was from a 7 by 8 1/2 or 8 1/4 size digital paper. You also can see that I am using some of the cut apart pattern papers from this kit to create my own journaling cards and embellishments. And I am doing that using the circular marquee tool for circles, like this Monday circle embellishment that I am adding to my spread. And I'm also using the rectangular marquee tool for instance, that story card up above on the right side. I went ahead and used the rectangular marquee tool to kind of digitally cut that particular part of the page out of the cut apart sheet. So these are obviously pages that are made to cut apart, but since I am working digitally, I have to accomplish that using the marquee tools. That's my favorite way to kind of cut away the parts of a digital page that I don't need and add it into my album and modify it the way that I would like. So now we have gone to the second part of my spread, and you'll see that this one did not come together as fast as the previous spread did. So I told you before that when I have a lot of photos, I like to add an insert in between my regular, what I consider my divided page protector page. and that is no different here. So since the right side of the page for the last spread was my insert, so to speak, that means that the left side of this particular spread is the insert. And as you can see, I allow myself a little bit more freedom to play with the configuration of the digital pockets on these little insert pages that I create for myself. You can also see that I am kind of changing my mind quite a bit on this particular side of the spread. I'm trying to add in all of these photos of our winter snowy adventures for this week. And I have a bunch of photos that I want to add. A couple of photos of me and my daughter outside in the snow, and then a couple of photos from my husband. And that is kind of like the story for that side of the spread since it is my insert. And I really like the look of that large horizontal frame right there that currently has the pieces of today digital art, but I do end up switching things around a little bit. Now that I'm looking at it, I kind of wish that I wouldn't have, and I would have kept on with that Pieces of Today um, page right there because it looks really cute and it kind of creates a frame right there that I really love. But I do end up switching things around a little bit, and you're going to see that here in a second. I'm just adding in some more photos to the right side of the spread. I think I might have a few too many photos on that side, um, but we will see how I fix that here in a second. And you'll see that I am doing the same thing to create those little story journaling cards using the cut apart sheet. I'm using the rectangular marquee tool to create a rectangle around the part of the paper that I want to digitally cut out. I'm right clicking and then I am saying layer via copy since I don't want to actually cut it out of my digital paper. I just want to create a new layer with that particular part of the paper on it, if that makes sense. Right now, if you're looking at my layers panel, you might be getting a little bit confused as to what I'm doing, but essentially I'm just moving my photos above the rectangle or shape that I want to add them to, and when they're in the correct position, I double click or right click on the photo layer and say create via clipping mask in that layers panel toolbar that comes up. So you can see me do that right there. After that, I can adjust the photo the way that I want it to so that the position is the way that I want it to be. I don't recommend doing all of this moving around of the template if you are a beginner because it is very easy to get a little bit confused and kind of not know where everything is. So if you are comfortable in Photoshop, then you definitely can do exactly what I'm doing and move around the parts of your template. But if you are just starting out, I definitely would advise you to kind of keep the template as is so that you don't get confused with all of the different layers that are happening. So I just recolored that Thursday story card that I'm calling it that came from the cut apart digital sheet. I did that using the paint bucket tool and choosing one of the colors that were already in the kit. The green color that it was before just wasn't working for me, so I went ahead and recolored it to that pale turquoisey color. Since I only used the Monday through Wednesday portion of that this week pattern paper, I went ahead and used the rest of it to add some journaling in from Friday to Sunday. You can see that in that 4x6 card over there on the left. I left out Thursday because I have that large 3x4 journaling space right there that says Thursday on it, so I figured I did not need to journal about Thursday twice. Um, so as you can see, I try to kind of mimic some of the elements from the first spread on the second spread. I'm still using those story cards that have the days of the week or the story sentiment on there. I also went ahead and used one of the weekly cards that came in the daily scrapbook kit to create kind of one of those tabs like I did on that first page. This one says Friday. You saw me recolor that with my paint bucket tool just to make it pop a little bit. And now I am just going through this cut apart sheet and kind of deciding what cut apart I want to use for my journaling. So I try out this pink story card. I try out the blue story card. As you can see, since this is an 8 by 10 template and not a 9 by 12 regular page protector, like it would be if you were working in a physical scrapbook, these little spaces that I call my page protector pockets are not exactly 3 by 4 or 4 by 6. That would not obviously fit in an 8 by 10 space, but they are the same dimensions. So 3 by 4 cards and 4 by 6 cards fit almost perfectly inside of these spaces, which is why it is easy for me to swap out some of those square page protector placeholders for some of these story cards that I'm creating, because these story cards are sized at roughly 3 by 4, and with just a little bit of help from the transform tool in my edit panel, I can size those down so that they fit within those little rectangles. So as you can see, I recolored one of those story cards purple so that it matched with the purple from the first half of the spread. And now I am just going ahead and adding in some embellishments. So I have my journaling finished, and I am adding in one of the labels that came in the kit. It says routine lately. I'm adding that to one of my photos. And I have also added one of the digital vellum pieces to the right side of the spread as kind of a Instax style um, journaling spot. So it has the sentiment on the top and then a little bit of journaling on the bottom of that 3 by 4 space. And I'm just going to go ahead and add in a couple more circular embellishments. I'm getting these from the cut apart sheets. So this one says life right now. This one is a little bit of a wonky circle. So instead of pressing the shift key as I'm using my circular marquee tool, I just go ahead and don't press the shift key tool, and my circular marquee tool ends up a little bit wonky, just like the circle that I am trying to cut out of that cut apart paper. I also added a digital stamp off camera and recolored it to that cream color. It says today on there. And then I'm just adding that to the photo of my husband driving in the snow. And now I am just going to save both parts of my spread. You're going to see the completed ones right here. This is the first spread for the first half of week 3, and then the second spread for the second half of week 3, including the insert that I create for myself. And now I'm going to take you into Bookwrite, which is the Blurb editing software, and we're going to see what this looks like when it is printed. I hope you enjoyed this process video, and I hope you will join me again for next week in my digital project life. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.